Your favorite toy truck nerds are back. Welcome to That Scale RC Show.
The heaviest RC podcast of all time.
Every time.
Look,
every time.
I was sitting here, I was like, I'm used to it this time. And, the part where it like flies down is the part where then it started to get me, where it's like, yeah, I can't take it.
I was already doomed because your dad goes, all right, cover your ears. Because I don't know.
Well, Travis always talks about how loud it is, and on mine,
that's-
it's like not bad at all. So that's why I was like,
no, it's loud.
It's loud.
And what I'm wondering is, and I
wrong
wonder
with
if we
me?
should have people like, can they like start our listeners chime in? Like, how loud is it for you guys? Like when you're like in the car, you got earbuds on, whatever. Like, do you guys ever go, oh, the show's starting, we better turn it down, and then you turn it back up, or do you just like let it like tear your speakers apart, or is it not even that bad? Is it just
it's kind of funny that it's like this obnoxious, horrible, blaring metal, like, and I think it's like what a generic cover of a Lamb of God riff or something like
Oh,
that.
that's a generic cover. That's not actually Lamb of God.
No, it's the vocal track removed from
Laid to Rest.
Yeah, Laid to Rest. But no, I found an instrumental bit of it.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's not a cover. But also that's not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing the like, March on the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah. The End of Days.
The Hobbit dragon just
Turns out it's loud.
Destroying the world.
Yeah.
I did actually, when I was getting things set up for the show, I was going through and I was going to see if there was a way to adjust the volume on it, but no, I'd probably have to do it in video editing software or something like that.
I'm just curious to know, like, I mean, because I talked to Scooter on like almost like once I'd say like 2 to 3 times a week, and he'll be like, hey, I'm listening to the new show on the way to this job, or we're driving here for work, whatever. He never once says, oh yeah, it's super loud. Do you guys know that? Like, so I don't know, maybe it's not loud.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to listen to it on headphones. That'll probably be a good gauge of how obnoxious it is.
Well, it's funny. I never really go back and like listen to the show after we do it. It's kind of like one of those weird things. It's like, all right, we were already there. We kind of lived it, did it. Like, I don't go back and listen to see how it was. I just kind of like let it, just let it ride out. And it kind of like, that's how my philosophy is almost like with work too, because I have to do a daily report, which turns into a weekly report. And my boss asked me one day, he's like, didn't you go back and ever look at this? And he goes, I'm like, I already wrote it once. I'm not going to look at it again.
Yeah. Well, welcome to episode 129, everybody. We're back, as you can probably tell. You probably figured that out by now. So, yeah, what's new, gang?
Just winding down for Christmas. We are recording this on December 11th, so it's getting close. We got exactly 2 weeks from today, and it'll be Christmas.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys gotten your Christmas shopping done?
No, I don't even have a tree yet. I got to get a tree Friday.
We have one of those fake trees and the lights are all like going out. So I got to replace that and then redecorate it.
Yeah, we also do the fake tree, but I put it up Sunday watching football.
Nice.
I get a real tree because it smells good.
If I want mine to smell good, I just go and get those pine cones and you just throw them in there, and that gives you the scent.
The pine cones with the cinnamon.
Yep.
Covered in glitter.
No, we don't do the glitter ones. We do the all natural ones.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually works out, but we can only put like 1 or 2 because some of those are like potent and it'll just like wipe out your whole entire living room.
Trav probably doesn't remember, but we used to like buy like a bag of them at Fred Meyer or whatever and put like a little basket out, and it always smelled pretty good. But I don't know. Still, it's like a normal tree smells really good. That's kind of hard.
No, it does. It's just the hard part that I have is the whole, okay, get it to the house, get it in the house without making a big old mess. Then you got to get rid of it. And, so
it is a huge mess. Like, luckily getting rid of it, like we can just stick it in our yard waste bin and they take it.
Yeah.
So I don't even necessarily really have to.
I don't want to deal with
upside down and throw it in there.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with putting it on the car and all that. And
yeah, there's that.
Yeah, that jacks up a car. That's like a bad deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because we actually have our garbage service. I think it's for the first 2, maybe 3 weeks after Christmas. They have a special just route that all they're doing is picking up trees.
Nice.
That is some Bay Area shit.
So you put out your tree on your garbage day, and there's just a specific truck that just comes by and they just pick up the tree and just throw it in the truck.
Truck.
But what cracks me up are the lazy asses that can't get it out there on the actual, during those times. And like, it'll be like the middle of January, and all of a sudden you'll be like, somebody still has a tree and they just put it out. And then you got to stare at it on the sidewalk for like 2 weeks because the truck's done. They're not coming by to pick them up anymore. So
yeah.
Typical.
Yep.
Very typical.
But
I saw a really cool, what was it? It was a robot tree, they called it. And it was like telescoping, and then like it would go up, and then the branches kind of went and then went out. Like it got full too. It wasn't just taller. It was really cool. And then it had like lights or fiber optics or something like that it had for decoration stuff. It was pretty neat though, but it had like a little remote, and it sat on wheels, so it was like easy to move around to wherever you needed to be and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah,
but it was still fake.
Yeah. Like I said, they all have their pros and cons. The only thing I regret is our fake tree isn't pre-lit, so I still have to put the lights up.
Yeah. I mean, I got like 5 years of use out of mine for literally, I spent $20 on it at Walmart.
Well, and also you keep it up year round too. So
not every year, not every year, but yes, this year it did not.
Like, I'm not surprised the lights have worn out on it.
Well, we don't keep it. We don't turn it on. We don't keep it on or anything. That's just such a pain in the ass. And to be fair, I'm not as great as I should be about breaking down boxes and things like that, because like I have so many like, inbound packages and stuff I bring home and everything. So it's like, then I like, I'm never in my living room. So that it kind of like by the door there is where I kind of put them until I have a day to break them all down. And, so then, it kind of blocked the tree in, but it's like, I kept getting to a point where I'm just like, man, like we don't have like a great, system for putting away the decorations and everything. And it's just like, kind of goes into a box. And so every year we like end up with like less and less. And it's just like, I really don't want to deal with that. So fast forward and it's, next Christmas. And so then we go to plug it in and it's like, all right, yeah, it's, it doesn't, not always lighting up. So we'll replace it probably this weekend. But we want to do the year tree. We want to do the real tree and actually take it down. When the means is a little bit easier to like get it home and all that stuff. But I just don't want to deal with trying to like strap it to a top of the car and have to worry about that. And everything that comes with it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, we're like I guess you could say I kind of got the tree up late this year. Normally we always do like the first weekend of December, but the first weekend of December was right after Thanksgiving and we were still on the road coming home. So it was this past weekend, and then we usually take it down the weekend after New Year's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good time. It's tough trying to figure out like how long to leave them up. Like ours always ends up dying like prematurely, and so like the day after Christmas, the thing's just this dried, crispy thing, and so
yeah. See, that's a little bit of cope, but like that's the thing that I'm glad I don't like have to deal with.
Yeah, that is kind of a pain in the butt.
So, yeah, that I actually have all my Christmas shopping done. So,
wow.
Yeah. I took advantage of a lot of Black Friday deals. Well, not
really?
not a lot of them, but a handful of like, that's when like they had a lot of deals for like shipping and whatnot. So,
yeah.
I did not see any particularly good Black Friday deals this year. Nothing mind-blowing. Not even like on Amazon or anything really, like I know with RC stuff on our Instagram for the podcast, I tried to share just, smaller businesses and stuff that were having Black Friday sales and stuff, like Scale Metal Supplies and My Trick RC and some others. I tried to just like share what other people were posting, it was kind of like, shopping hints or, trying to be helpful that way. So
yeah. I took advantage of because Michelle's son Kyle, he's big into sports, so Fanatics was having a couple deals on some of their jerseys, so I got him his CJ Stroud jersey that he's been asking for.
Oh, nice.
Got that already done. What else? My mom wanted some 49er stuff, so I got her all taken care of. And then, that was there really wasn't a lot that I had to get, because it's like, we're at the point now, you get the one big extravagant thing, and then that's just kind of like it. There's no, like, you're not getting like, like a bunch of like junk that you don't really need. It's like, okay, you say you needed this, like I'm getting Michelle the new iPhone 16. So it's like, I just got to go to Apple and pick it up and it's done. There's no like, I'm not like, okay, here's this, and this. It's like, you've been saying you need a new phone. Here you go. You're done. So
nice.
Well, if we're gonna have another quiet year this year for like the 6th year in a row, it's also hard this year because with the way it's not been the most festive year because like I work in e-com fulfillment, and so like it's our busiest time of year, and good God, last week we shipped, I guess I can't give an exact number, over 20,000 orders. And that takes a toll on you. So we, with how late Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday and stuff was this year, and then we come out of that and we're like 2 weeks away from Christmas, you're just like, man, like doesn't even really feel like we've had time to enjoy it. So that's been kind of a bummer, but we'll see how next year goes. But we got our little bit of snow, and it's been cold as shit. And, so I guess we got kind of the experience, and we'll see what the next couple of weeks bring us. But everyone extended their sales, and so like things don't really feel like they've slowed down. It's been kind of hard to enjoy the holidays so far, but we'll see.
Yeah, even some of the bigger RC places have extended their Black Friday deals just indefinitely until Christmas or whatever. So
we kind of did the same thing. I sort of forgot to just take ours down.
I didn't realize that.
Me neither. And but I was like, I might as well. Like, I'll just give it through the weekend or something like that, and we'll just see. But yeah, it's been kind of a weird period. But yeah, Christmas has snuck up on me quickly.
Yeah. There was one other gift that I hadn't mentioned yet, but maybe I'll use it as a segue. Don't really have anything new as a new project, but Michelle's dad is getting a We Rock buggy. So hit up Jerry at DMG, and he actually it was a pretty quick turnaround on this. It was I think I messaged him like, hey, I'm interested in, I think that's called the Capra Eco, is what he calls it. And I was like, yeah, I'm interested in the Capra Eco buggy. What are the details? He DM'd me back like the next day, was like, this is it. It's it's the chassis, panels. You get a electronics tray. I can paint it. I can do, I can have the decals done on the panels, all that stuff. Obviously that's an extra. And I said, how much just for the bare metal chassis? So I think shipped, it was like $293 shipped to my door, exactly how you saw it. So
that's an awesome deal.
And it's based around the Capra. So if you wanted to, you could just cannibalize your Capra and just put everything on there. We're not going to cannibalize his Capra, so it's actually going to be a ground up build. So
nice.
So that was my part of the gift for that rig. Michelle's part was the F10s. So he's got axles and a chassis, so he's ready to get started. So even though it will be me that assembles it.
It's a pro build.
That's right. The white glove build.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's I think that's really about it.
Right on.
Yeah.
I haven't even touched mine. Mine's still sitting over my shoulder, just in the same spot it was since we recorded last.
Yeah.
I've gathered a few more parts for it, but haven't put anything together.
You're a busy guy. That's all right.
So,
Trav, you haven't really built anything lately. You're just in get through each day mode.
Yes, I am. No, it's been a very not exciting year for RC for me, but I don't know. I'm in need of some build therapy. I'm hoping next year. I still got to put. I want to rebuild and wanted to make some adjustments to the power wagon. That's been on my list for a really long time now. So that's something I need to do. But other like that's probably like the very next thing. After that, we'll kind of see. We'll see what kind of momentum I can get from there. But it's I might kind of wait till the weather. I mean, not that the weather's been bad, but I don't like. Dad knows this. I do not like doing RC in the cold. So I might wait till the spring or something or whatever. And there's still a lot of places I need to go check out here. And
there's not a lot of people that like doing anything in the cold.
No, I'm not a great cold person, admittedly. I can do cold and dry. Cold and wet is pretty bad, but I still don't like to be like out doing outdoor activities if I can help it.
Yeah, no, I get it. We did fire and ice a handful of times where, like, one year, I think the final year that we did it, that was the coldest that it's ever been out at Moon Rocks when we did it. And I think it was like, because we rolled in at night after CKRC was doing something at their shop, and it was like, I think we rolled in and it was like 8 degrees, and we were like going, "Are you kidding me?" And then we woke up in the morning and it was like 2, and you were like, "Oh, we got to get set up in this." Yeah, that was a
well when
that
we
was,
would go,
that was a cool
yeah.
one.
Well, I think I got burnt out on it early because when I did racing, like the kickoff to the outdoor season was always go to this super cold indoor barn race, and where it would be like sub 30 degrees, you can't stay warm enough, and I've never been able to like reasonably bundle up, like it just doesn't like feel like I ever can do it enough. And so I end up fighting through this whole weekend, but it's like the only way that it's worth it is like for the racing side. So then it's like when I'm just outside, like not doing anything, then it's hard, but like just those weekends got to be really long, and I just got really sick of it. Like that was the one thing I really did not like about doing those. So that's where I was kind of like, if I'm going to do RC, like I want it to I want it to be in the best conditions available, which is in Washington, that wasn't always much.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, all right, well, if I already know it's not going to be great, like let's keep it at a minimum.
Well, once you get your rally car, that'll be something fun that you can mess with, like out in the parking lot or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time.
Yeah, and like I said, it's really not far to get to a big variety of things. So, that'll definitely help.
I built Trevor rad rally car.
You did.
It's this dude right here.
Yeah, that thing's sick.
Should be pretty cool. I got to get a body ordered for it here this week, hopefully. And I did my first cut and shuts ever. That was the most stressful thing in the world.
What tires did you decide to do for the cut?
Dude, it sucks so bad. So here I don't have
a shot for everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. Right up the sleeve.
So
usually charge extra for that.
Yeah.
We're getting this for free.
So it was these tires here, which are pretty much too big for most like 190 to 200 millimeter wide touring cars. And with rally in dirt, you run 15-inch wheels and like a real tall like side profile tire, usually like a 65 or 70 series. And so I did Tamiya M chassis wheels, which are like quite a bit smaller, and then did a cut and shut on those.
Oh,
so that's how it turned out.
Nice. Yeah, when you said cut and shut, I was actually I didn't know that other areas of RC actually do that method. I was expecting that you did like some crawler.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw a guy do this on one of the Facebook rally groups that I'm in, and it was super, super smart. And like he took and did like the Pirelli tire sticker over where the seam is. Like it's really hard though to get the seam and stuff right. I mean, they're not perfect. Like you can kind of see it, but you know, I mean, look what you're trying to accomplish compared to what it was. So I mean, it's
pretty significant.
It's tough. So I think what I'll probably do is like where the glue is like scuff it with sandpaper some. And I think that'll help knock it down and make it look a little bit better. But I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like maybe these are just going to be something that's good on the shelf that you really wouldn't want to run in the dirt because there's not a whole lot of space from where the bottom arm is, where the pivot ball is on the lower arm to this. So, I mean, you don't have a whole lot of ground clearance other than, you know, the angle of the arms and under the chassis. So I really don't know how awesome or not awesome this is going to end up being. And hopefully the car's not so overpowered to where it just explodes the tires. So, so that would kind of suck.
Yeah,
that was kind of a interesting thing. Like it I don't know. I'd love to say that I enjoyed trying that for the first time, but I didn't. I mean, it was just stressful.
Yeah.
So yeah, been working on that for him, and then I something that I was picking your guys' brains with was some scale trailer part stuff that I was working on. I'll show that here. So most trailers are pretty whack in the RC world, and like they'll have like a big huge gap between the tires and the top of the fender or something. So like the most normal looking trailer I could find was from Cross RC, only it's not sold under Cross RC's name. Like it says it on the tires and stuff like that, but it's sold under whatever generic brands. And so I wanted to make it look a little bit more realistic. And so I worked on some 3D printed storage lockers that go on it. Because originally what this was going to be is I just wanted to make lights for it. Like I just was like, okay, I'm going to want to make tail lights and marker lights and call it good. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, what if I actually make like storage for the thing and have the lights built into the storage cabinets and stuff? So this has been a project that I've been working on, and it's we're gonna have it to where you can let me close that out. We're gonna have it to where you can either buy the file or you can buy them pre-printed and finish them and stuff. So there was that. There was some other stuff I was working on too, just little things that are convenience items and stuff. I worked on a steering rack for the Team Associated Apex 2 chassis, and then a fan mount for it, and just some stuff like that. So I've just been working on some little projects that are kind of outside of our normal scope of business that are things that I felt like people could benefit from. The trailer stuff got a lot better reception than I thought. Like I was kind of like super like self-conscious about it at first, you know, like it just, whenever you do something, you always kind of second guess yourself and like wonder if it looks good or not, you know? And so that was one of those things where I wasn't really sure about, but it was pretty positively received. And I've had a few people message wanting to get the files and stuff. So
nice.
We'll see how it goes. I'll probably do like a more universal version that you can scale to fit other trailers. Like I'll try and, you know, establish like a size that looks somewhat normal that you can shrink down by, you know, like 95% or whatever you need to scale it down to, or make it bigger to fit whatever trailer you happen to have. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Trailers are one of those things, like it's like hit and miss in the RC world, because you got the people that go like super like full dollhouse and they want to have the trailer with the rig that's on it, the tow rig. They want the trailer to look just as scale. Then there's other people that are like, they want to build a trailer and they just want it to tow. They just want it to have to have a trailer. And then sometimes like you see people at like some of these events and you're like, that trailer looks like it's not scale. It's just like,
dude, yeah, there's so many bad ones.
And that's what it's yeah, it's hard. So trailers are one of those things like, do is it going to be something that everybody wants? No, but I think when done right, similar to like how you did it, it comes out to being, a nice addition to whatever it is you're doing. And especially if you're someone who just, even if you just enjoy having like a shelf piece that you want to like look at or whatever, it still turns out to be a really nice addition.
Like they're getting better. Like, for example, this is terrible.
That's like, yeah.
I'll see a guy with this behind a Jeep and then like a motorcycle that's like the wrong scale. So it's like the size of a KTM 65 sitting on it or something. Like,
but the thing is, like, I don't think I've ever seen a trailer that looks like that out like in the wild.
Right? Yeah, no. Like these aren't bad right here. Like this isn't terrible.
That's not terrible.
The distance between the tires, like the tires and wheels actually look pretty good. The deck looks weird. Like I don't understand.
Yeah, that's not really. No.
But I mean, this is something that those cabinets would dress up.
Oh yeah,
really nice on though. So there's this, and then this is actually the one that I've got. This is the cross one, but it looks like they put it together wonky and have it with the mega lift on it. But like the tongue's stupid, and it's got all these weird, hexagon knockouts in the side of the chassis of it. And I mean, just, I don't know, man, like just stuff is so, actually, no, this is different than mine. It's really similar, but mine has the tongue jack up on the tongue versus back here, because on mine, I've got a box here that holds a winch and then 2 5-gallon fuel jugs and stuff. But I don't know. There's just so many just whack looking trailers out there, and there's not that many good ones.
Look at that Power Hobby one. What is that?
Look at this guy. Woo! The Energy Special.
Yeah.
All the anodized aluminum you can eat.
Crazy.
Power Hobby. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus. Triple axle. $300.
See,
is that a CAD shot?
So the problem is,
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So the problem that I have with like those designs is that even in like, again, like that's still really not something like okay.
This would be a gooseneck, not a bumper pull.
Not only that, you'd never have the axles in the middle of the trailer like it's a teeter-totter.
Yeah.
Never in a million years. Those tires should be back at least another 2-3 inches.
Would that even
be a legal tow?
No.
Most trailers, the axles are about 2/3 of the way back.
Yep.
It just is a general like rule of thumb, I guess you could say.
So that's just like, you'd never, that wouldn't be legal. But I mean, that's why it's hard. So I've made from scratch a trailer with Elio. It was like a collaborate, build. He gave me he basically built the whole frame, and then I did all the wood, because those are your standard trailers that you see, the wood deck trailers, the beaver tails, all that stuff. Like that's like the common thing that you see. This stuff is kind of like, I think they're just trying to see what they can mass produce and make the most profit on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the Redcat one is honestly probably one of the best ones I've seen, I think. It's got wheel chocks, it's got tie down points, it's got a winch, which I think that's just for looks, but I'm sure you could put a winch on it. It's got a stabilizer jack. It's got plenty of marker lights and stuff on it. Like, this is honestly one of the best ones I've ever seen. But like, this is ass.
It's just like your other one. It's just not anodized some bright color.
Yeah, like it just, I don't know. Like, look how short the tongue is. Like, you turn even a little bit and you're going to have your bumper and taillight smashed into it. Like, the tongue's not nearly long enough. I don't understand. It's like the stuff like this is just made by people that don't pay attention to what trailers and cars actually look like and like what is
exactly
a real thing, I mean, if the deck wasn't so goofy looking, this one wouldn't be terrible.
But that's something you can actually work with. If you really took the time, you could probably glue some like balsa wood, that look like a wood deck over that, and that would actually look like a really realistic trailer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's exactly like there's a lot of material around the edges of that, of sheet metal there, where you could, fasten some sort of decking to it. You know what I was always thinking might look okay is if I mean, it would be a little bit sketchy unless you have one of those little like hobby tabletop like table saws, but rip down paint stirring sticks and use that as your decking.
Yeah.
Like rip those and cut them to scale, whatever, like 2x12s, I guess you would do. That's what you would deck a trailer with, wouldn't you? 2x12s?
2x12s, 2x8. Depends on what kind of trailer it is.
Gotcha.
We did the wood deck at the bottom of Michelle's dad's little 5x8 little like utility trailer, and I think we did 2x8, maybe 2x6.
This is
I don't know. It was a smaller trailer. Yeah, that looks like someone's poor attempt at at like one of those overlanding trailers, like one of those little teardrop things. That you bring
it looks like a combination of that and like a dog kennel. This is the trailer for your sled dogs.
Yeah. No shit.
I mean, that's just it.
Okay.
Like,
okay. And this is and then you put your Hot Wheel in the back of it. Like, is that just to show you the size, or like, yeah,
dude, the tires are like bigger than the car. That's your like, what is that? That's your like 5th scale freaking low C something sitting in the back. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, why? Like, and this is kind of something that I want to carry on over into when we get to like new releases and stuff. But why go to the expense of building something like this and not paying attention to little things like the windows, for example, and why go this far and do like a tongue jack and a roof rack, which the roof rack is kind of cool. Like, I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for the windows, this wouldn't be bad looking. It's a little short, but I mean, like, why go this far and then just half-ass it and make it suck? Like with the way they've got the windows and stuff. I mean, why do it and go to this expense if you're not going to do it right? That's what I just don't understand.
Because I'm trying to find like the nicest way to say it. It's because it's people who aren't actually in that industry trying to come up with something, and then they're probably given like a budget or a whatever, like, hey, you can only spend this much time on it, we can only spend this much money on it, and we need stuff that we can readily have at our disposal to build this. And then they're like, okay, and then they put it together, and some guy's like, yeah, it looks great, let's do it, instead of actually going, does this actually look like something we've seen out in the wild?
It's the same reason. It's the same reason why in one of the photos you can see a full-size car in the background.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing that's kind of frustrating about this one trailer in particular, though, is they could have just made one little. I wish I could here we go. Okay. They could have just taken this window frame, slap some Lexan behind it or whatever, or just leave it and let the customer do that. And just one divider here to where it was set up like a slider, and it would have been great.
Yep.
Instead of the cargo net window. Like what?
The dog kennel window. That's for your canine unit. That's when you're building your off-road SWAT vehicle.
Well, I thought this was kind of interesting too, the storage for the ramps. I hope it doesn't flip up somehow because the car is going to be in the way.
No, it doesn't flip up. So what that should be is
underneath.
It should slide underneath. That's actually common on full size.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I saw this and I was like, I hope that's just sitting there and not like how they expect to store it. Because, for example, here's my trailer again from a different vendor, and they have the tongue on upside down.
Like,
dude, I don't know how you would like. I mean, that's got to be sitting on the ground.
I don't want to be like, I don't want this to like to turn to like a bash session, but it's like who's like who's like the media, like who's in charge of social media or like marketing and designing, and they're like, yeah, slap this thing together, Kevin. Yeah, that looks great. Let's take a picture of it, you know, and then let's put it out to the masses. And you got people like us that are looking at it going, well, why does it look like it's upside down?
I think
it's so bad. Like, come on, guys.
I think that we should just move on after that one.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to beat. I mean, I think we've pretty much seen. Oh, hold on. Look at Injora pulling through with something not terrible.
It's actually
18th scale, but I mean, it's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
Not sure what you can get in between those fender wells, though.
Yeah.
Well, it's the wrong scale.
Well, not necessarily. So the other thing too is, so in the actual wheeling community, I have seen this, see exactly how they have it.
Oh, I see.
So there's the, what is it, the deck over trailer, where like the deck completely goes over the tires and you can just drive over it.
Oh, that's how trophy truck trailers are. A lot of them.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's like a price point thing or harder to find, or if they're too high or whatever the hell it is. But for some reason, it's like not everybody can find those or get those or afford those or whatever. So they get the normal car, the normal deck trailer like this, and then they either reinforce the fenders so they can just drive over the fenders, and then they just kind of park and straddle over the fenders.
Right.
Because most of the trailers that have those fenders, they're like thin sheet metal. You drive a vehicle over them, you're crushing them.
Oh yeah, they'd be done. But I don't know. Anyways, this was just like one of those areas that I was seeing a lot of room for improvement, you know? So I figured I would tackle it and try and make something that's inexpensive to try and make them look a little bit more realistic, at least.
Yeah, you could almost 3D print a full trailer and make it look better than half of those.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, it's like, I mean, you would think when you're designing something like this, you'd have a reference photo. I mean, it's almost like people drew these as someone's giving them like verbal cues on how it's supposed to look, you know? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
The screen mesh is like the expanded metal mesh is really popular for these, though, it looks like.
Well, because it's easy. They probably get it in a big old sheet and they just like, you know, they just put it underneath there in a couple tack welds.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's one more thing. I'm going to have to give Traxxas props. Traxxas dropped a boat trailer that looks freaking phenomenal. How about that?
Man, someone's been on like the trailer frenzy lately.
Research, dog. But didn't they do a good job on that? I mean, that's fantastic. Like, that's right up there with the RC four-wheel drive boat trailer.
Yeah.
Did a super good job on that thing. And it looks normal behind a truck, too. Like, I can't remember what I saw it behind, but some of the trailer pages and stuff on Facebook are super entertaining, too, because it'll be like a dude wants a trailer for his X-Max or something. You're just like, what? Why? What are you doing? Stop. Just stop it. So anyways, yeah, trailers. There you go. Well, I guess you guys want to jump into some new stuff.
Yeah.
Let's start with Redcat's new Ascent 18, which they did a pretty fantastic job on. So it's got their Scout body that's just shrunk down like they've had on their the other Ascents. Is 18th scale just the new hotness? Like,
it's funny. I was just about to say that. I was going to say, what's with the 18th scale, you know, like what's the new craze? Like, is it because of the price? I'm wondering if it's because of the price point, because 1/10 is starting to get so expensive. I'm wondering if they're like, if we just go down one scale size, we can get it back into like the affordable range where everyone can, get into it. But
Right.
is it going to actually take
$150 is good. Like that's a good deal.
But now it comes down to a whole thing, is it's like, are all the aftermarket companies going to actually want to invest in making, aftermarket parts for this?
Yeah, I mean, there's very few even aftermarket 18th scale bodies that you can get. I mean, very few.
So that's my biggest concern, is it's like, are you going to get, like Vanquish on board? Are you going to get RC 4-wheel drive on board? Are you going to get any of the, Pro Line, any of the big names that actually make stuff that people are buying for the 1/10? Are you going to get them to come out with something for the 18th? I don't know.
Yeah, even tires. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Traxxas, their TRX4M was the first 18th scale on the market, right? Isn't that what kicked all this off? Was the Traxxas?
I thought that wasn't smaller. That wasn't like the 1/24 scale.
No, because everybody had a 1/24 scale, and then Traxxas came out with the 18th scale, and then like FMS and all those companies started coming out with all kinds of 18th scale stuff.
Oh, I must have never paid attention. I seriously thought.
I mean, yeah, I haven't.
I don't
really
feel like this is all that new. It's just that a lot of the 18th scale releases up to this point have been really uninspired.
I think this is good. I mean, like, I think they did a nice job on this. I was gonna try and find some some body off chassis shots of this little dude here.
Yeah, and see, that's where I get kind of interested, because to Adam's point, like, it does feel like this is a response to barrier of entry, where it's like, hey, could we make like a cool 18 scale? I think, because like, again, like $150, like this is very much to target new RC enthusiasts, but like in a meaningful way. Like it's a good attempt at it.
Well, it's got portals even too, which is kind of crazy. And it's got a comp style flat plate chassis with like all kinds of shock adjustment. Like,
yeah,
I wonder
this
must
is like
be
the
like
gateway drug.
Yeah, this must be the same chassis that their fusion looking body is on. Because this isn't their first 18th. They've had another 18th scale prior to this one. But this must be that same chassis, because the first one of these that they released was more kind of comp truck looking, which would explain why this chassis is the way it is. Yeah. Nice deep area in the middle for an interior if you wanted, which is kind of cool.
I think they probably also do that for center of gravity.
Yeah.
You drop that down, it's going to be a much more capable rig, because like the 24th scale, the axial stuff, the center of gravity is so high, the thing's just really tippy.
They are. I mean, it's a nice looking layout. It's got probably one of the larger batteries that I've seen in a small car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The servo on axle, that's cool.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy runtime.
I wonder if the battery even comes with it. Let's see. If the battery comes with it, for which I have a feeling it probably does.
It is an RTR, isn't it?
Yeah. Dang, look at their light pods and stuff. I mean, they did a nice job. It's really detailed.
Yeah.
The wheels aren't too exciting, but they're just a good, every man's wheel. 750 milliamp LiPo is what it comes with. And a Fly Sky radio. Interesting. Wow, lots of aluminum upgrades already.
Yeah, but they're
brass.
You can get a brass or aluminum.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is kind of good, because I saw that question pop up on a page not too long ago. Somebody was talking, they were like, it started this whole like battle. Like somebody was they wanted some upgraded axles, and they're like, what's another good brand that makes upgraded axles other than Vanquish? I want to put some like beefy aluminum on my comp crawler. And then it started this whole battle. People are like, really, you want to put heavy, stuff that like doesn't slide over rocks for a comp crawler? Like that's why people, typically stick to plastic. And then somebody else was like, "Oh, I wish somebody would make some brass axles. It would just make life." And you're just like, "Oh my Lord, here we go." And it's like, and then the whole
Brain
battle.
rot.
Dude, brass is so soft. Like that's the worst idea ever.
I mean, someone should just come out with a full brass car and put it out there and see how many people buy it.
Everybody would. You know what would have looked really sharp because of the white rally stripes on the Scout bodies would have been the wheels and tires off of their other Ascent.
Yeah.
The kind of Maxxis Trepidor looking tires look way better than those Swampers that are on it.
Than the IROCs.
Yeah. Let me see it. I want to just double check the chassis. I'm sure it's the same one, but I just want to double check. Man, they got after it with the product photos on these. Yeah, same one.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see why they would change it.
So this is pretty cool. So what let's see what the TRX4M runs. Why isn't it typing? Weird. What's going on? For some reason, the search function is not working on.
This is where we need you to come up with a little like thing that pops up and it does the "we'll be right back."
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I'll just have to edit this out, but maybe I've got to share the screen first before I can type on it. No. Weird. Well, how am I supposed to? That is really strange. I just want to see what the Traxxas runs in comparison. 159 for the Bronco. 179 for the High Trail, which that makes sense. I mean, it's got lift kit and bigger wheels and tires and stuff. So yeah, so I guess back to what I was getting at is the Redcat is actually pretty comparative price wise.
Yeah.
It's not like,
As
a
you'd expect.
super cheap option, but I mean, I'm sure the FMS models one and everything else is pretty close to being about the same. But so I don't know. I mean, I think that they did a pretty fantastic job on that thing. I mean, it looks nice. The proportions are right. Which now that brings us to HPI's new Venture 18. Which this is the guy right here. I don't know. I think that this was kind of a mess. I had really high hopes when I saw the spy photos, like the little photos they released of like the two bumpers and stuff like that. But
it's a miss because the body looks like it's crunched together too much. Like the hood almost looks too long.
And it has massive wheel arches.
Yeah.
Huge.
But even just the wheels and tires, is it just me or is like just the wheels and tires themselves? I can't place it, but something looks really weird about those. Or maybe it's just how they sit in
well,
the
wheel is bigger than the passenger and driver side roll down window, which is like really strange. But again, I mean, and I feel bad.
It looks like a Hot Wheels.
Yeah, it looks like a toy. Like this does not look like a scale model. This looks like a toy, unfortunately.
Yeah. Which is really unfortunate because, I feel like it's purely proportions. If this was a like proportionate release, then I feel like we'd be much more excited about this because it's actually like it's a good idea. Like I like what they went for.
That's just it. Like, I mean,
I don't know if, I don't know. It's just very strange.
This is what I was saying about, like, if you're going to do it, why?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, even this, like, why do you have like functioning lights and turn signals and stuff like that, but yet you make it look borderline ridiculous? You know, and I'm not trying to be mean or like a dick for no reason or anything, but I mean, it's just the only thing that this car would, the only way that this would actually look cool is with different wheels and tires, and it would go, you know, going for like that, like a Proline cliffhanger kind of slammed comp truck look. Like the body would work for that because of the giant wheel openings and stuff like that. But I mean, as a scale rig, it's just, you look at this and you look at the Redcat, and the Redcat looks like a real car. And this honestly looks like something you'd see at Walmart.
This is I think that's the problem I have with it, is like, we just came out of looking at the Redcat where like it looks like reasonably normal. And then you've got this looks like a slammed version, or like a slammed, like someone tried to make like a street legal version of like a mud truck. And yeah, I'm not really understanding this at all.
I know. I just, and
that's too bad, really.
It is, because I was so excited because, you know, the spy photos look really great. Let's pull the Redcat back up. The spy photos looked awesome of it, you know, with the lights and stuff and the detailed tube bumper and everything. And, you know, I thought that was super, super exciting. And then they released it and it just looks so weird. I mean, just, why bother doing it if you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. I think it's hard, because it's like, this is where the line got really thin, I guess. Like like I said, if it was proportional, if it had better proportions and looked closer to, you know, what is already established in 18th scale, which is, you know, not a lot, but so far people I think are, you know, hitting, then yeah, this would be like the opposite conversation where it'd be like, oh, this is a sick release. But because it turned out the way it did, it's like the complete opposite, where it's like, that's my enthusiasm for it's kind of killed. It's also hard too, because like I'm not even trying to be like overly critical. I keep wanting to give HPI like benefit of the doubt of like, okay, they're back.
Right. Because I mean, they don't make junk, you know, like the original Venture, the 10th scale one, is a good truck with like good quality plastic. And I mean, I never had any issues with like gears breaking on it or anything like that. Like, it was a good truck, you know. And
I'm a little bit behind now on the HPI lore of how they're still in business, but what they really should have just brought that, like that original Venture, that is exactly what they should have just brought it back and released it again and just got that out.
They should have done the FJ body. I mean, I think FMS has an 18th scale FJ, but still, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they could have gotten.
I don't think that body would have been an issue if the proportions were right.
I think I found the problem.
What?
In 2019, the HPI racing brand changed ownership, and the major shareholders are now Scandinavian based. It's IKEA. They ruined everything.
You can actually buy these in IKEA stores now.
But yeah,
with a grilled cheese sandwich and a bookshelf.
I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I think that really does. I think it kind of comes down. It does. I think that does play a part into how they're going to go forward as a company, because like, look at Redcat. Redcat kind of had that, you know, almost like
Redcat was this at one point.
Exactly. Yes. Then the right, you know,
this is the bad release that leads to the good ones that come later.
Well, right. It's that, or this is the one where they go, okay, if we want to step into this league, we're going to have to change some things, because, you know, Redcat did have that reputation, you know, 8 years ago. They came out and they're kind of like, it's not quite scale. It's not quite there yet. So, okay. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they just like, you know, we're going to go scale. And I think that's around the time John from Axial went there. And yeah, and I think it just changed stuff. So I think the fact that, you know, HPI isn't exactly the brand that it was before, I think that's why you're going to get stuff like this.
Yeah, it's disappointing because they actually weren't. I don't know. I still very much feel looking at this like they weren't actually that far away. This just felt like, at the risk of sounding mean, it feels low effort. Like there really wasn't a lot.
Like, look at all the molded plastic parts and the lights and stuff. I mean, it's like they put a lot of effort into some things, but like the realism of it and like the wheels and tires are just god awful.
Well, that's what, and I think that's what I mean. Like,
I don't get that. It's like, why did you guys try so hard in some areas and then just completely drop the ball on one of the most important things, which is the wheel and tire combo and the proportions?
Yeah, and that's my thing is like it's like I said, it's not like 18th scale releases up to this point are all over the place and people are like trying to figure it out. Like there's not been that many, but what has come out has been pretty good.
Like really good. I mean, like that Traxxas Bronco that I had up on the screen there for a few, the white one, that thing looks fantastic. I mean, the wheels and tires are a little bit big, but I mean, you could adjust the ride height and it would probably look a little bit more normal. Like it would have a little bit of a lift on it. But I mean,
comparatively to this, it doesn't look unreasonable.
Yeah. I mean, this would be better if you threw the Redcat wheels and tires on it. I mean, just that one thing there would be a big improvement. It would have kind of a little bit more of a comp truck look to it, but
depending on how it matches up with the body,
yeah. I mean, man, I just don't know what they were doing.
What's the price?
This is where to buy. Oh, they don't sell direct. Interesting. $150. So where's the incentive to get this over?
And giant honeycomb molded. I'm blanking on the name, but you see that underneath the doors there, are the steps.
Oh, the Nerf bars.
Oh yeah, those are big running boards, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know.
I was just bummed out because honestly, I want to see HPI make a strong comeback.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too. I think that
won't be with this car.
No, it's not going to be with that car.
No.
Kind of a bummer. I mean, I hate to bag on them. Like I feel bad being this critical, but at the same time, it's like I feel like it's also kind of deserved.
I don't really. Yeah, I mean,
you can't do stuff like this and be competitive in the market. Like this is where they got into trouble in the first place. Is just doing weird shit and like for example, their other venture, that crazy ass body that they released.
I think they just tried to do too many things, and the original guy got a little ass backwards on, the money.
I mean, it's like, what? I mean, just like, again, that's just so Walmart looking.
Those wheels and tires would have looked better on that thing than those chrome things.
You know what? To be honest with you too, I really wouldn't care. It like HPI can make the comeback and be, I don't know, the next like what Redcat I guess used to be, because I guess there is a place in the market for that. But like, decide what boat you're in. Like if like, are you going to be the like, hey, we're like, we're the Walmart shelf retailer where it's like what you see is what you kind of get, and that's about it, and we're not really interested in like the scale aspect of it and all that, or like, are we like actually trying to be a player in that market and go down that way too? And like this feels like this release feels like they couldn't decide who they wanted this to appeal to, and thought that, hey, why don't we just include some elements of this where, hey, like we'll just cover all the bases, and think, hey, maybe like, so we just we cast the widest net possible, whereas in reality you actually just alienate like all of the
Well,
like the people that actually
especially
care
when
about
you're the same
detail.
price as everybody else. I mean,
Right, exactly. If this was like $110, $120, it's still not great, but it's like, okay, maybe you can make a bit of a project out of it. But you put this next to the Redcat, like we were literally just looking at, it's like it's really not a decision.
No, you buy that Redcat all day long.
Yeah.
and
credit to Redcat. I mean, what
they knocked it out of the park, didn't they?
this is the first time I think that I could confidently say next to Redcat next to a, with several asterisks, established brand, that like the Redcat was kind of the superior option in every way.
Yeah.
It's just not a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are like, oh, what about the Traxxas? And well, I like you even say the name on the show. So
wow. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah, just weird stuff. I mean, and that's what I was talking about earlier when I was like, why go the distance on some of this stuff? Because it just, I don't know.
I like the Hilux body. I think that was a good decision, but do it right if that's the route you're going to go.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly,
that would not have been much work
from the front and stuff. It looks really good.
Honestly, the only angle that looked good was that bottom picture where it was kind of like low and kind of diagonally facing the back. That was like the only flattering picture of that rig. So keep going down. That one right there.
That's the only one. Yeah.
Where you're kind of like, But
if this was the first photo I saw, I'd been like, okay, it's sick.
The outer diameter of the wheels needs to be what the wheel face is.
Yeah.
Like if the actual like lip of the wheel itself was the same diameter as what the face is, and then they stepped it down just a touch. I mean, even that, and having a little bit more sidewall, and then adjust the ride height so the body sat up just a tiny bit more, it would have been a sharp looking truck.
Do you remember do either of you guys remember I don't remember who did it, but the radios that there were those radios for a while, and you could probably still get like aftermarket wheels and stuff where it was like they would try and make the steering wheel look like a real wheel for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, all the drift guys do that still.
Yeah, but it's like
a brake and stuff behind it, like a brake rotor.
Yeah, but it's like cheap and plastic and stuff like that. And it's like honestly, like if you really squeezed hard enough, you could probably crack it. Like it looks like I could do that to those wheels. Like that's how cheap and like off-putting those look.
Yeah,
and like they don't need to be crazy. They don't need to be incisions or anything, but they should look up to the job.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Totally.
Hopefully we're right, and this is the they're going to figure it out. But at the same time, I feel like HPI does have a deep, historical catalog of. I mean, again, the most criminal thing to have come out of all of the last however many years with them, outside of I mean, in terms of releases, is that like we never properly got the Venture. And somehow that's not crossed anybody's mind that was like the RC release we should have had. That like people don't understand what like that would have really accelerated everything that we've talked about for the last couple of years of like what has happened to scale RC with like just as the cars have just gotten progressively better. That thing was a little bit ahead of its time. And
behind the axle steering and stuff.
Yeah, and forward motor and all that stuff. Like. And like for whatever reason, nobody feels like digging that up, and I really like someone's got to do that again. HPI's got to do that again. That is what people want. Maybe people are tired of the Venture body or whatever. I don't know, but I just think that that's something that or the FJ body. But I feel like that's something that it's unfortunate, like because of everything that happened with them as a company, that really buried the lead on like. Hey, like, no, that was like the home run release that you guys have had in your back pocket this entire time.
Which they still haven't really capitalized on at all.
No.
I mean, they threw that horrible looking body on it whenever their licensing agreement ran out for the FJ, I guess, and that's it. I mean, they should be doing like Element and Traxxas and everybody else have like, I think they have 2 colors of it, but it's still the same body. It's like they need to. You've got to have a licensed body or something that looks really close to a licensed body, but you can't just invent stuff anymore because people don't go for it. You know what I mean? Like it's got to loosely resemble something at least.
Whoever,
you know, like the Sendero looks like the older Dodge. You know, before they went to the kind of humped in the middle hood.
They're viable.
Yeah,
they're viable.
It's very similar to like Axial. For the longest time, people were the Deadbolt. They were just making it into a Bronco because it was really close to you know, a 70s Bronco. So
which is rad, you know, and it looked cool, but like the whole like
that was true for a lot of their releases.
Spaceship stuff just doesn't work.
Whoever is running the show at HPI now, like, needs to decide, like, whoever that people keep taking this company over and casting this wide net, trying to figure out what it is, figures out that it's not like a viable business practice, hands it off. And like, it kind of feels like we're getting the same thing again. And like, there needs to be some hard decisions on like, what are you guys going to make? Because this release felt like there was just a ton of indecision and it was just like, let's just make it. And
they got everyone so excited too with those pictures, with the bumper and the lights and stuff, dude. There were so many people like, oh yeah, they're back. This is awesome.
It's really disappointing.
My question is, so how much money do they dump into this and then it doesn't move? How long does HPI still stay an actual brand?
It depends on how many other nonsense releases are coming out, which I'm a little bit behind on, but like, are we just like, are we just releasing anything
this
now?
Is the first new chassis, unless they used like somebody else like RGT or one of those manufacturers. I think this is the first new chassis they've done since the change of ownership, because the Venture is still the same. Their RS4, I think, the touring car that they have, that's the same from, I mean, shit, which 10 years ago now, maybe?
Which, to be fair, great platform, no reason to change it.
Right. But I mean, it's just, there's very little happening there. And they need to be careful or they're going to find themselves right back where they were, especially cranking out stuff like this. This was just such a big miss. And again, I'm not trying to be mean. It's just, I'm just from a person's standpoint who's like passionate about the hobby and also, you know,
how do you look at
works in the industry? It's like, man, this is just the wrong move. Like whoever okayed that, they would be, if I was their GM, they would be looking for a new job, you know? I mean, just that.
I mean, it's a collective responsibility, and it's probably not even that big of a team, but I just don't know how you look at what the available market is now and then be like, oh yeah, we nailed this.
Yeah. I mean, you look
I just don't know how you're confident in that release.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, right on. Yeah, this will compete great with those. People will buy this. It's like,
again, unless like you're not targeting this market, you want to be the $100, $110, $125, Walmart shelf, and like, hey, then that's fine. But it's like, it's $150. They were definitely like they did want this to be like a scale release. Like they were active in this. And so it's not like we're criticizing it, something that ultimately like that we're upset that it's something that we know it's not like supposed to be. Like, no, like they were trying to enter the market with this. So I don't really get where all of a sudden it was like, yeah, like, okay, cool, green light. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the part I think that's the part that's getting me the most, is like, I'm not getting the logic. And it's unfortunate though, because like I said, very narrow miss. Fix it proportionally. I think the Hilux was a good choice. Mm-hmm. That would have been like that would have been a good option.
The features are all very cool. All the molded plastic parts and stuff, really, like that stuff looks nice. That was good. The hinged body is cool.
Yeah, but in a scale too, where again, not a lot of great aftermarket body options.
Yeah.
It'd be different if we were talking about a 10 scale release where it's like, okay, there's at least another angle of, well, you could throw a different body on it.
80% of the people are gonna throw a different body on a 10 scale, but you don't have
in
that
18
luxury
scale
with
context.
this.
Exactly. Like you don't have that to lean on. And that to me is why this is so damning, is like, no, like what you're putting out there is like what people are going to have to work with, and hard to get excited about that.
You're gonna see a lot of these on raffle prize tables, I think. You know, like just,
I mean, unless they're trying to give them away, which
well, yeah,
I'll
like
give them more
let's
credit than
let's
that.
get
But
rid of them. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's just kind of disappointing, sad a little bit, you know. I mean, and I don't think we're being unrealistic or overly critical or anything like that. Like I do feel like this is kind of a legitimate fail on.
It's a direct competitor to the Redcat we just looked at and really had nothing
Same exact
to
price,
about.
and and the Redcat just smokes it looks wise.
Yeah.
It's just a more complete offer, top to bottom.
Definitely. Something that I wanted to try was kind of maybe highlight like 2 different brands each episode to take a look at what their offerings and stuff are, and just kind of go through them, and just to, maybe it's something that we can kind of expose people to something new and cool that they didn't know about before. So I had picked 2 earlier, and one of them is somebody that Adam has talked about in the past, which is Little Guy Racing Products. And what got me with this, that made me want to talk about these guys, was that I saw they recently had right here officially licensed 1552 24th scale wheels, which I thought was really cool because that's not anything that anybody has had in the past.
That's crazy.
It's a brand that nobody has messed with really. So this
was what I kind of like. Sorry, not to cut you off. What I really like about Little Guy Racing Products is they're like this, like they're like almost in their own little world, and they're like thriving, and they're not getting like the crazy mainstream, like, what is it, like highlight, like, it's not like Proline came out with this. It's not like Vanquish came out with this. This is a brand that, really is dominating in the 1/24th scale, and they're knocking it out of the park with everything that they touch.
Yeah, really, scale hubs, shocks, tires that are, like a replica, but not a licensed replica necessarily. Like BFG Baja TAs here is their gripper LG3, and then KX is here. So, there's some really, really cool looking stuff, but when I saw that they had 1552 licensed wheels, I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic looking body there.
And that's just their unlicensed, looks like a little Toyota.
Yeah, SR5 Extra Cab. Just really, really cool stuff. And like it all looks really nice. Really when you're looking at 24th scale stuff, I think what prevails in the market is mostly like Amazon brands, like Injora and stuff like that. You see a lot of like GPM and different brands and stuff like that aren't really, whoa, look at that. Full on tube chassis crawler, or is it just, it's a cage over a chassis rail body.
Yeah.
But still, like, wow. That's unexpected. I don't know. These guys are doing it right.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool stuff. At least they got the proportions and stuff right. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of bring these guys to people's attention again. I mean, even like the category we're on right now is SCX24 stuff. So that, you know, like CVD axles and stuff, rock sliders for their comp frame. I mean, really, really cool stuff. R Factor body looks like the Bronco, the Fun Hover Bronco. So there was these guys, and then the other one that I was looking at was Muse, which I've noticed is really starting to gain some traction too. Kind of an interesting radio. These guys, for the most part, specialize in TRX4M stuff. They have some pretty amazing things like a CNC aluminum cage chassis like the Ripper. They have an IFS kit for the TRX4M so that you can build like an Ultra 4 style Bronco. I mean, just it's kind of wild. The one thing that I thought kind of sucks though, like they have something called the Ripper, which is basically just ripping off the Vanquish Ripper, but small scale, which I thought was kind of disappointing. But really, I mean, that's kind of the only like thing that I've found so far really to kind of fault these guys about, honestly, because you know some of this stuff is pretty incredible. I mean, $349.99 for this aluminum frame and body kit. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wheels and tires, 1.9 tires and wheels. Plastic bead locks, some aluminum ones. These are kind of, I don't know. These look like Triel ones or something. I mean, honestly, like even the font almost looks like Triel's font.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mias is one of those. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if anyone really knows how to pronounce the name of that company.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because everybody that I talk to or I've watched on like YouTube, they call it Mias. So
Mias? Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I don't know. We're probably all butchering it. It's probably like pronounced something else, but
Radio is interesting. It's very small.
Yeah.
IFS is cool. Oh, I didn't realize it comes with trailing arms too.
Uh-huh.
Axle parts, body shells.
And the funny thing is, Mias is actually starting to step up into the larger scale too.
Yeah, I saw they were doing something with like Capra axles or something.
See, you could see they got 1/10, they got 1/18. So
here's their Ripper. This was kind of disappointing because it's just a blatant rip off of the Vanquish Ripper.
Yeah.
But that's what happens in this hobby. But they do have some pretty cool stuff. So this was just something that I wanted to kind of point out to everybody and kind of show off too if this hasn't been on anybody's radar.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering if we ever want to do like kind of like a small scale episode, if we get Adam from Cape Crawlers on.
Do I know who that is?
He's on YouTube. He's got he basically only messes. I mean, like he has a couple videos on his YouTube about like the 6 scale and like maybe 1 or 2 SCX10s, but everything is 1/24th.
Oh, wow.
He's like, he'll do like budget builds. He'll do over the top builds. He'll do stuff like this with the Ripper and the Mias with the M18 or whatever they call that, the MB18 Bronco looking thing. Yeah, he does a lot of 1/24th scale content.
I'll say this, these guys kind of have their lighting stuff on point for the most part.
A lot of it looks like the Baja designs.
Yeah, I was going to say these replica Baja Designs ones look incredible. These little guys.
Those are cool.
H10 optic light bar. These don't even necessarily look that bad. This is a KC bar, I believe. Good pricing too. I mean, $15.99. $16.99 for those, $18.99 a pair for those. I mean, really reasonably priced light bars and stuff. So these are a little Amazon-ish, nothing too exciting. But definitely a brand to kind of keep on your radar and keep a lookout for, because obviously they're trying to do some pretty big things here.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Cool.
I completely forgot to do the banner for each one.
All good.
Oh, well, that's life. Anything new on the event front with what you guys have got going on, Adam?
So up here in Northern California, not really. We have I know Elio's talking about doing a snow run. So he wants to do something like kind of like to redeem the snow run, or not even the snow run, but like, I guess you can kind of say it like the Polar Express 2 or whatever. Because like when we went up for that one that we were calling the Polar, I think it was the one that he was calling the not the X-Files one, the one before that, Area 51, the when it just got super cold. He kind of still wants to like redeem that one. So he's been talking about doing a winter one. I'm most likely going to happen in January. He just finished what he's calling what was practice day number 2, which was this past weekend, for the We Rock buggy stuff. So he's got so he just finished that. I'm not sure if when the next event is with that, but most likely everything's gonna be coming up in probably January, February, after the new year, after we get through the holidays and everything. So that's pretty much all I know that's on the horizon as far as events in our area.
Nice.
So
see how quick I was with those banners for that.
I saw that. You were like,
I was on at that time.
Like we knew what we were doing.
Yeah. I'm so bummed that I forgot to do that. Here I was like, man, I'm going to have everything like labeled during these segments that we're doing. And then I went and dropped the ball.
It's okay. We're slowly getting there. I mean, everything's looking a little more professional every time we do it. Until we act unprofessional. And then we just derail the whole thing.
Pretty much all the time. So anyways,
great.
I guess one thing we got to figure out too is, are we going to do the live episode again this year? Like we've done in the past. Yeah. I know it would be close to this one, but at the same time, it's kind of something that people participate in. So it's not like, we have to have like a bunch of stuff to talk about necessarily for that one. Cause and it would be nice to maybe have a guest or a couple guests, like have a couple guests for like maybe 30-minute spots or something. I mean, there's a couple things that we could do, but
let's brainstorm some stuff. Maybe instead of doing it right before the holidays, maybe we do it right after the holidays, sometime in January.
Maybe we do maybe we change it up this year, do like a New Year's kickoff or something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
We could do New Year's Eve and we could all eat pizza in front of everybody. We'll just have a New Year's pizza party. We each eat pizza. Or not.
We all know what Jay's doing for New Year's Eve.
Being super lonely at home, eating pizza by myself, watching TV, and asleep before midnight.
That's a perfect night.
That's actually what happens with a lot of people. It's so funny. It's like, as you get older, you realize like, all that
There's
stuff
nothing
you did.
special about it,
Well, it's not. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's kind of like, in a sense, kind of rolling over. I mean, I guess how I look at it is kind of like a birthday. Like you're rolling over. Okay, we finally hit that point again. We're here. It's starting a new year. It's kind of something special. But then the novelty wears off within like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like I remember, like 12 years ago, even 10 years ago, like trying to stay, you'd be up, you'd like, okay, we're over at this person's house. And then, you know, we'd watch the ball drop from the actual New York time. Then you'd watch it at like the Central time. Then you'd watch it on your time. And so you like, you know, making it like an actual like thing. And then like a couple of years go by and it's like, we'll be asleep on the couch or we'll be already in bed. And then, yeah, now it's just kind of like, we actually go to sleep and then sometimes we'll wake up like right before everything happens. And then we'll just kind of like look at each other and say, Happy New Year. And then go right back to bed. It's like, there's like no, like, it's like we're a bunch of old fogies now.
I think it's one of those things where it's like birthdays kind of, you know, like after a while, like you said, the novelty of it all just kind of wears off. And it's like, how many times do you need to see, you know, Katy Perry or Mariah Carey or Taylor Swift or somebody perform live in New York and then the ball will drop? And it's the same thing every single year. It's just kind of repetitive, weird tradition that people get wrapped up into that I just can't get excited about anymore. Which it's kind of a bummer. Like I feel that way about like almost every holiday now and like birthdays and everything, you know, like it's just, they've all just kind of like lost their luster with me, but
you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I guess I'm just a professional party pooper is what I am. Well, anyways, we got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Wish all these people.
I'm hoping I'll have more We Rock builds further along next time.
Yes, and share lots of pictures of them too when you're doing it. That would be great.
What's awesome right now? What's awesome? Yeah. Pick one thing. What's awesome right now?
Adam's awesome.
He didn't know how to respond to that. He was like,
well, because like I don't want to put. I didn't want to. Yeah, I like if I had a faster, you know, response or something queued up, I would have said it because my go-to is going to be like, well, convince Michelle that one.
No, I don't. Travis and I have this conversation a lot, and I guess I didn't really think of anything else, just going with the first thing that popped in my head, which was you. But like, you know, you're just so like consistently tempered and always, unless it's regarding import cars, you're pretty objective, you know, about everything, you know, you don't really get caught up in like choosing sides and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's just, it has been a really fun, whatever the hell it is, 4 or 5 years now that we've been doing this, but it's just, I just, you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate your consistency and your stability. And it's been fun. So it's nice.
Well, thank you. I mean,
so, yeah,
it's been a fun ride, and we're gonna still continue it, you know, moving forward. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I don't know how to say this because now you're kind of like putting me on the spot. It's like I get that a lot, even at work. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, we never see you. Like, you know, you don't get pissed off. You don't get this." I said, I think it's kind of a good thing you haven't seen me get pissed off because it's actually like it's not pretty.
Yeah.
So, but
that makes sense.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean,
I just appreciate.
I don't know,
people, dude. Like you know, I mean, more
I
and
get
more. Like every passing year, it's like the circle gets a little bit smaller. You know, like people kind of reveal a little bit of themselves, and like especially this year with it being an election year and stuff. Like I think we saw a lot of sides of people that we didn't necessarily need to see, and it's just I appreciate that consistency and that like not like, man, that guy just said something so weird, I don't know if that, you know, like that's gonna like shape how I look at this person from now on, you know, like that happens a lot. Like they'll say something and there's just no taking it back and you're just like, huh, okay, you know. And I just it's such a bummer that it's like, you know, people will overshare and sometimes it changes my opinion of them and stuff, but like you've always been so just firmly planted like right in the middle and very neutral, and it's just, you know, the older I get, I appreciate having people like that in my corner. It's nice.
Well, I'm also somebody who like, and I say this all the time this is where like some people will say that I'm an asshole. Like they'll get a hold of me and they'll be like, they'll want to tell me something that's going on, or they'll want an opinion on something. And I go, do you want a real opinion, or do you just want to hear what you want to hear? And then they'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, like for instance, like someone's like, oh, should I be doing, should I do this to my truck, or should I do this, or should I, when I'm building this? And it's like, well, here, if you're going to do it this way, you should go do it, A, B, C, this is how you should do it. And they're like, really? You think? And I'm like, well, yeah, why, otherwise you're wasting your time and your money. And then they go, well, could you say it any more blunt? And it's like, well, you asked for
do you want an opinion or do you want validation? Those are two totally different things. And it sounds like they're wanting validation.
And that's the hard part, is like some people want to just give the validation, because they think, and I think that's actually, unfortunately, the way our society has gone. And I don't want to like take this like episode as we're winding down that rabbit hole, but I do totally think that in this day and age with social media, with the way everything is everybody looks for validation instead of just taking the reality checks of like, everybody has their own opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You may not agree with everybody on their opinion, but it's that saying, it's an opinion. It's like opinions like an asshole. Everyone's got one. So either you deal with it or you don't. So, and some people just have, I think, thinner skin now. So they just don't know how to respond to it. And, I'm one of those, I could really care less. I mean, I started the whole reason, like when I got onto Instagram with all the RC stuff, it was more just to kind of like just show off, my builds and just like how I like them and like the stuff that interests me. And it's like, and I know not everyone's going to like it, and that's fine. But I don't really care, criticize it, whatever you want to do. You're still going to see what I like to do. I'm not going to change that just because I'm looking for, oh, I need to get like 1 million likes on this and whatever. It's like,
it's a photo album of
it pretty much
passions that you're sharing with people.
Exactly. I've never tried to make it like something, like that. So, you're just going to basically get the real deal. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. I mean,
yeah.
And I also try to be fair. I mean, I've been actually very honest. Like when people like, we've done it on the show, we talk about servos. I'm going to talk about, the people that I work with and that sponsor me and that, have my back, because the same reason I gotta, I stand behind, their products and whatnot, because that's what drew me into wanting to work with them. So, that's about the only time I'll be opinionated really, really heavy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Travis, what about you? What is awesome right now?
Yeah, I didn't have all that prepared. I didn't actually really have an answer. I don't know. College football's been awesome. That was going to be mine.
College football?
College football's carried me through this fall. So, yeah, that's mine. I don't have much to elaborate on there.
Actually, there's one thing that I do want to say that is not Adam related. I
didn't know you were going to turn it into that. I was like, well, I don't know.
Well, it's just the first thing is I was like, Travis and I mean, because like Travis and I talk about like the show and stuff, and like how you and I do, Adam, and stuff like
yeah.
And it's just something that always comes up is it's like, man, isn't it nice like what a consistent person Adam is, and like how it's just, dude's just a solid person, and so it's something that always comes up. But what I was going to say is like Travis and I are big motorsports fans, like with racing and stuff. And it started off moto, and gradually our interest kind of swung to cars, with like automotive racing. And Trav's always been a really big F1 fan, like much, much bigger than I am. And this year for F1, of all the years for Travis to not follow it.
No kidding.
What an awesome, awesome year. I mean, so many different winners. The championship winner wasn't the constructor's winner. That was mind blowing. Usually whoever wins the championship, like if it's Red Bull or Mercedes or whoever, typically both their drivers are placing high enough to where they win the constructor's championship as well. And this year Red Bull didn't win it. Instead, McLaren won it. And it was just like shakeups and people losing their rides partway through the year or towards the end of the year. And reserve drivers being given opportunities to race. I mean, it was just so wild. And like the silly season has been nuts too, with people switching rides and stuff. And it's been an awesome year for F1 fans. It has been just crazy. So that's like one really cool thing that's going on in the world that happened this year, was the fact that F1 was rad.
Yeah. Next year should be a fun year. I'll definitely pay more attention next year. I think the sport is also starting to benefit from the football thing, where with the amount of eyeballs it's getting in America too, because everybody wants instant gratification, including owners. And so patience is at an all-time low, which is leading to some ridiculous moves. And
as far as drivers, you mean? Or
yeah,
personality,
not really approaching things with what I feel like is great balance and the full picture. A lot of reaction, and and the sport's better. It sucks for the people affected by that, but it sure makes the sport more fun. So it's just, but it's also like sometimes it can go the other way, where it's like the bad teams stay bad. But no, there's a lot to look forward to there. Next year will be a fun year. I'm bummed I missed out on most of this year, but yeah, that's going to be a more conscious effort for sure.
I would like to see them make it easier to watch. It's like kind of F1's kind of like NFL. Like, you don't really know where to watch what and when, and you know what I mean? Like, NFL's kind of weird that way right now. Like, I know that's something you talked about that was kind of frustrating, and that's
well, I have that problem because I'm out of market, so like it's exacerbated for me, because like I have to jump through so many hoops to watch. I'm afraid to even say how I watch it, because I'm worried that some, like, in some weird way the provider's going to catch on, because I don't think it's supposed to work the way that I do it. But yeah, it's like I have that problem. But ever since it's been on ESPN, I was like, I kind of forget about that. But next year I forgot I can record stuff, so next year I'm definitely gonna record them if I can't get up on time.
Yeah,
because that's always the hard part, is getting up for the races.
Yeah, exactly, because the majority of them are all overseas and stuff.
But it was also like you'd get up at 4 a.m. for kind of a snooze fest. So it was like, you kind of just fall back asleep.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, next year should be fun.
Yeah, it's been a year for it, that's for sure. Well, anyways, I guess what's
Adam, what's yours? Did you?
What's awesome right now?
Didn't you?
What's awesome right now?
No, sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's actually funny, because I'm like, damn it, Travis like figured out that I didn't say anything, because I'm trying to figure out, because like I
thought you did. I don't know why I thought you did. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. What's awesome right now? I mean, you kind of touched on it, I guess. I just say like my core group of friends, like the people that still continue to check in, and like, like you guys, we BS throughout, the week. Like, we'll post something up, whatever, and we get sometimes like side, chats start on there, and, we'll be discussing something that's like not even related to the show, but we just, BS. Like Dan Sutherland, Scooter Scott, Elio, they like, like I said, my core group of friends that'll just reach out and like just BS. Like, you could totally not talk like for like a week or two, and then all of a sudden, and you just catch up, and they don't care that it's been like, it's been so long, and we don't, you don't say anything, it's like, that's what's really cool, because like, we all have acquaintances or people we say are friends, but like, you end up not talking to them for like 2 or 3 months, and then they like treat you differently, and they're like, oh, well, you must be too busy. It's like, well, we're all adults, we all have lives. So, but I think that's what's pretty awesome right now, at least for me. So
Dan Sutherland has a great sense of humor. Like, that dude's dark. I can relate to him.
Yeah, he's actually I should probably have him. I don't know if he's mentioned anything to you. You should actually check out his Jeep. So
really?
his 1-to-1, it's pretty badass. He's had the thing since like high school. I'm
Really?
horrible with knowing what the older ones are. I think it's a TJ, I could be wrong. It could be a YJ. I'm not 100% sure. That's where I'm horrible. But it's pretty badass. It's on 1 tons, like Jesus. Almost looks like 40s or something like that. It's got some. It's badass. I told him, I said, as soon as it's ready for a shakedown run, let me know. I'll have to get the heavy Chevy out.
Yet another person who's like into one-to-one stuff and RC both. Because there's so many people that are like, if you have the real thing, you know, why would you mess with it? Because I think we've all heard this, like, oh, RC is for people that can't afford the real thing or whatever, you know, but it, like, that's just so not the case. I mean, it's like, when you got guys like Casey Curry playing with RC cars, and the dude, you know, has every off-road vehicle you could possibly imagine. I mean,
yes and no. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's what kind of started getting me into it, was because at the time I've had my 94 pretty much since I got out of high school. And that was like my everything at the beginning when I first got it. Cause I was like, oh, I want to go wheeling, I want to do this. And then you start breaking parts and you're like, you know, you're being like 18, 19 years old. You're like, I don't have the money to fix this. So then you start bailing on a lot of wheeling trips because you're like, I don't want to break anything. You know, fuel costs too much. This is too much, blah, 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 blah. And then you start asking yourself, why do you even have it? Because you can't go use it. And then all of a sudden, like, I saw a YouTube video on that's actually how I found it. I was looking up solid axle swap Chevy videos on YouTube, and I typed in SAS Chevy, and I clicked on a thumbnail for one, because in the thumbnail it looked like, I was like, okay, it's a white Chevy truck that's solid axle swap. I started watching, I'm like, this isn't a truck, this is a toy, this is an RC car. What do you like? And then I started just watching it a little bit more, and I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. And then I happened to walk into a hobby shop with Michelle's dad, and he was actually looking at something else, and up on the wall it said Axial, and I remember that's what it said on the video. And then that's kind of like where it all started for me. And then it was just like, okay, I could buy this and I can go out and wheel and kind of get like the same camaraderie, the fun, you know, and you can have the creativity building it the way you want it. But you're not totally freaked out, you know, if you destroy it.
right.
So
I think if anything, I've gotten more interested in real vehicles since getting into scale RC. You know, like I never would have even cared or thought about like a Nissan Patrol or a Mitsubishi, you know, Pajero or anything like that. But, you know, because of RC, I know what those are, and like I think that they're cool now and stuff. So it definitely opened my eyes to like a way bigger automotive world than what I was currently focused on, you know, prior to getting into scale RC.
Yeah, the funny thing I find is the parallel into the two, about how like with the RC, just like with the one-to-one, the Toyota and the Jeep dominate the industry.
That's so funny.
And then after that, that's why, I don't know. That's why I think it's maybe the love that I have for the Chevy platform, but also just the fact that it's different is another reason why I kind of like gravitate towards going that route, because there's not a lot of people running full-size rigs out on the trail.
Oh, our speaking of Chevys, you saw our thumbnail picture, right, for recording tonight? The one with the Chevy from Crawl Zone RC?
No.
I didn't realize it, and somehow we completely missed this. But that is an RTR. Let me...
Yeah, because I've been horrible with Instagram lately. Like I haven't really been on. Like I'll be on for like 2 seconds and then I'll hop off. So I miss a lot of stuff right now. Like I actually need to catch up.
Let's see here. Oh, well, you can see it. But anyways, shoot, I had a picture of it that I was hoping I'd be able to post up here, but I cannot find it on my desktop. And when I went to share it, it's just saying slides or PDFs, and I only had it saved as a JPEG. So anyways, I don't know, but I thought it was a rig that Richard Derry from Crawl Zone RC had built, but it's not. It's that red square body Chevy is actually an RTR, and the only thing that he's done to it so far is like a 3D printed air filter for the engine. So it's I don't know what we were doing or just it somehow flew under the radar, but we missed talking about that thing because it looks crazy. So anyhow, there you go.
Yeah. That is the isn't that the RC 4-wheel drive?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was something he built because I mean it looked just good and like perfect and had BFGs and stuff on it, and I didn't realize that they did that on the RTR. Had the BFGs. I thought they had like their generic tires on them. I don't know. It looked fantastic though. Super clean looking.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a really nice build. You tagged me in that one.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure you saw that since you're Mr. Square Body.
I wouldn't say Mr. Square Body, but honestly, and I think it's funny. I don't know if a lot of people know this. My favorite body style is the 69 to 72 Chevy.
Really?
Whether it be the Blazer, the pickup truck, that is my ultimate favorite.
Which that's like the yellow Blazer that you have, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that
Mhm.
body style.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get introduced to like Blazers and stuff until like late 70s. Like in the late 80s, we had a GMC Jimmy
Mm-hmm.
with a 350 in it, and that was like my first like exposure to like the Chevy Blazer platform. So
Yeah. So my dad's got a 71 K20, and that and growing up, that's like what started it for me. Was he had that, and he had an 86 square body, and then he got the 90s. It was an 89, which actually became my first truck. That was the first year Chevy went to that, like the similar body. Well, it's the same body style, but that was the first year. 89 was the first year they went to that, the iconic, what they call the OBS, which is what my 94 body style is. And yeah, it's all pretty much been downhill from there.
right on. Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff to everybody. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yep. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a safe New Year if we don't talk to you or do any kind of show before then.
Which we'll let everybody know.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, have a good one, guys. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.